Hello all, welcome to the video. In this video we'll cover about service portal fundamentals. So what we'll learn in this video? So we will create a portal similar to this. If you see, we are seeing the records here, some widgets. So what we'll learn in this video? So we'll learn service portal architecture, widget fundamentals, designing pages, client server communication, option schema and reusability. So let's get started. So to create a portal similar to this, we'll first navigate to portals in ServiceNow and create a new portal. So let's navigate to portals. Yeah. So here we see there are various portals created. So we'll create a new portal for us. So I will click on new button and here I will type now Ninja, which is my YouTube channel. So suffix as now Ninja. Yeah. So this our portal is created. So we see there are various fields on the portal. Okay. I will just save this record for now and let's see what are the other fields. The title represents the display name of the portal. The URL suffix, it defines the portal URL. So you can access the portal with this URL suffix. Home is the default landing page when a user opens the portal. KB homepage. So this represents the knowledge base. So when user goes in knowledge, user clicks on knowledge, he will redirect it to this knowledge homepage. Login page. So login page is used for authentication purpose. Logo. So logo is used to show on the portal. So if you see here, so here this is the logo. Alternative text. So when logo is not available, it shows this alternative text. Icon. So icon shows in the browser. The small icon, if you see that, this coming to this side. So application represents the in which application the portal is been configured. 404 page. So this shows when there is an invalid page ID or the broken links. Catalog home page. So it is a default page for service catalog. So when user opens the service catalog, it will go to this page. Similarly for catalog category home page. So when user goes in catalog category, it will show this home page as a default. Main menu. So this configures the main menu of our portal. Theme. So this represents the colors, fonts, CSS for our portal. It controls the overall branding. Inactive. So we can make the portal as inactive if we want and give an alternative portal URL. Quick start config. It represents the JSON based configuration used for ServiceNow for rapid portal setup. Employee center style configurations. Usually empty for custom portals. CSS variable. Define the reusable CSS variables. These variables can be used across the widget's themes pages, as this is on the portal level. Hide portal name. We can hide the portal name. Support left to right languages. So you can use this to support left to right languages. Here we have search sources. This defines what table or content types are searched. Like knowledge articles, catalog items, incidents, custom tables. We can define them here. Then we have knowledge bases. It controls what knowledge bases are searchable in this portal. Why this exists? Because there can be multiple KBs, different portals for different users in case of bigger organizations. Catalogs. It appears which service catalogs appear in the search. It represents which service catalogs appears in the search. Taxonomy. Taxonomy defines categories, topics, hierarchies. Used, used mainly for AI search, employee search, contextual search results. So now we have created our portal. So here we'll create a home page for our portal. So I will just click on search. So we'll come to the page later. For now, I will just submit it and create a page here. So we have a home page ready. Another important thing is 404 page. So we'll select the default 404 page here. Menu. So we'll create a new menu for our portal. Then we'll create a theme for our portal. So let me go in themes. So this is our stock theme. So we can't alter this theme because it is out of box. So what we'll do, we'll just rename it as and we'll insert it. So it will create a duplicate record. So now if you see, we have this theme created. So we'll use this in our portal. So these are the important fields which needs to be configured. I will just save this record. So now our portal is ready. We can also configure logo and icon for our portal. So now we can open our portal with this URL. So if I copy this and I will just duplicate this tab. So if you see, we see our portal, but we don't have any content on our portal page. So let's add the contents. First, let's configure the menu. So we have created this menu. Let's go in this menu. So in menu, we have the title, application and JSON format. We can add. So we'll create a menu for our page. So title represents the title of our menu. Additional JSON options. So this is used for advanced configuration passed to the menu widget, used for behavior control, not links. Application represents in which application our menu is configured. Widget. Widget defines which widget renders this menu. Usually an out-of-box header or navigation widget is used. Without a widget, a menu will never render. The widget reads menu plus menu items. So I will select here a header menu. Now here we have to define the menu items, which will show in our menu. So let's create a new menu item here. So first let's create a one for home page. Here we can see what type of menu item we want. Page, URL, service catalog. Let's keep it as a page for now and select our home page, which we just created. Here we can give the icon which we want for our menu item. For now, I will keep it as empty. So our menu item is created. Now let's create some more menu items. You can also give a condition if you want the menu item to display. So now if we go back to our portal page, we can see these menu items are configured. We can navigate to these menu items. If you click on my request, it will take us to the my request page. So likewise, if we click on knowledge, it will take us to the knowledge page. Now we have created the menu item, but our home page is empty. So let's configure our home page now. So we'll go in pages under service portal module. So this is the page we just created. Oh, it's renamed as no, we'll just update its name as home. So what are the fields representing the page? So title is a friendly name for admins. ID. ID is a unique page identifier used in URLs and navigation. So this ID you will see in the URL. Then we have application. The application represents the scope in which the page is created. Public. Public allows the unauthorized access to this page. So page can be accessed without a login. Draft. Draft makes the page as work in progress. Page is hidden from the users. Roles. It restricts the page access to specific roles enforced before the page loads. Like if you want to give the page access to only ITIL or admin users, you can add the roles here. Short description. It is used for documentation for admins. Helps explain a page purpose. Page specific CSS. CSS applied only to this page. Loads after the theme CSS. Dynamic page title. It controls the browser tab title dynamically. It can be set via script or data. It use SEO script. It enables the SEO logic for the page. It is mainly used for public portals, like the page should be searchable faster. Human readable URL structure. It enables the friendly URLs for the user. Like we have this URL. So this URL will change to a friendly URL name to the user, like Now Ninja. We can put it, replace it as Now Ninja, or whatever the user wants. So in related list, we have containers. So containers define the layout structure of the page. Think of containers as vertical section of a page, like rows, column, widgets inside them. Meta tags. Meta tags control HTML metadata for the page. They affect SEO, browser behavior, social sharing. These are used to make the page searchable. Dynamic page variables. These are used to pass values to the widget dynamically. Now let's design the page. So to design a page, we can open the page in Designer. So it is a user-friendly interface to design a page. So in the left side, we see widgets and pages. Here we'll see in which portal we are and on what page we are. So let's change the portal to Now Ninja. Here we can preview what our page will looks like. For now it is empty. So here we have the layouts for our widget. So it is a bootstrap style layout. So we have bootstrap uses a 12 column grid system, and under that 12 column we can divide it into 6 by 6, 3 by 9, or like 4 by 4, and we can add the widgets in the different sections. Okay, so we have a container here. We have added our container 12 here. Now for the second row we have to again drag one more container, and here we can put what sections we want. Suppose I want 6 by 6, so 2 columns here. Like this, if suppose we want to add one more container, let's make a 3 by 3 container here. Let's make a 3 container here. So we'll add this. Okay, so now under this we can add the widgets. So we can search widget here. So let us search, add a search widget. Then here we can add various different widgets. So let me add icon widget. So we can reuse the same widget for, with different functionality. So if you see, I have added 3 icon widgets here, and now I can configure these icon widgets to show different things. So if you click on this edit button, so if you see, this icon widget can represent page, a URL, a catalog category, catalog item. So let's make it as a page. We can show what page we want to show. So let's show a knowledge page here. Title we can give it as knowledge. Short description if we want. Bootstrap color we can keep it as default, or there are various colors. So let's make it as a primary for now. I will come to this later. We can give a class name here if we have any defined class. We can add a logo here if we want. So let me add a logo. You can define a template if you want. Top icon, circle icon, or color box. So let me save this. A knowledge icon link is created. Similarly, if we change the page to something different, and logo will select as, let me select this one. I will click on save. So now we have 2 of them created. Now let's make it some different. Let's make it as a URL. Here we can put the URL which we want to redirect. So I have a URL ready. We have to give our portal name here, followed by the page which we want to load, and the sysID of the catalog item. So like we are doing it for SC catalog item, and we'll give the sysID of the catalog item here. Let me represent it as a create incident, as this is the incident catalog item which I'm representing here. I will put the color again as primary, and let's select a icon for this. So for create incident, do we have a bug icon? Yeah. So I will just save this. So now if we see our page, and I will reload the page, We're showing this because if you see the URL now, we have just updated the URL. So let me put it as home. Yeah, so this is our page. So if you see now we have the widgets added in our page. Let's add some more widgets. So now if you reload the portal, so we have this portal ready for us. Now we'll create a custom widget. So I have already created a custom widget. So let's use that existing one and I will explain you what I have created in that. So I will add a container first below this, and here I will make it in the two sections and I will add two of the custom widgets. Now if we see our page, you can see these two custom widgets are shown. So let's see what we have configured in this custom widgets. So this custom widgets will show the data of the incident records which are created by the user. Okay, and here if also if you say now we can right click on this and go in instance options, and here we have configured like various instance options like we did for above for icon, right? Like we did for this. Similarly, we can reuse the same widget with modifying the instance options. So we have the default names here and we can rename it. Suppose we want it for change request. You can just put the table name here, and the filter we can keep as same, and I will save this. So if you see now, the pages has been updated to change request. Now it will showing the change request. This open button, if we click on this, it will open the incident record which we have in the list. This close button will close the record. It will ask you confirmation and it will close the incident. Update button will configure in our next video. So let's see what we have configured in this. So we can open the widget by going here and open the editor, or we can also go in our instance and search for widgets. And this is the widget which I had created. So in the widget also we have again the name, the ID. ID represents the widget. This should be the unique. Then we can make it as a public or role specific. And here we have the HTML, CSS which we have defined. To see it in a more good way, we can go here in Open Widget Editor. So we have a controller, we have a link here, and we have enable preview since it is showing as has preview. Here we have defined the option schema which we just updated, the table name. So to see it in a user-friendly view, we can go here in Open Widget Instances. Open in widget instance. So it is open now in a proper user-friendly way. So let me explain one by one. So in the HTML column, let me close this. So here we have this preview button. So if we click on this, it will preview. For some users, it's not there. So you can go here and make sure this enable preview is checked. Okay, so now here if you see, we have this table configured, and in the HTML block, so we can see like we have defined this div here, and here we have this title for this table options or title. So this title we are bringing from options. So if you remember, like if you remember we put instance options and here we have this title, so we are taking it from here. So where it is defined, so it is defined if you see, go here and edit option schema. So here we have defined what options we want for our widget. So here you can see the title. So we have to make sure like the name field should be unique and it is same used here. Then we have configured the table. So if you see here, we have a code for table and we have a T head, table head and table body. That's it. So now if you see here ngif, so this ngif is an Angular code used here. So what it will do, so it will show the below data only if we have the data here. So this data.records.length, so it is coming from server side. So we are sending an array to the HTML block in this, and if it finds the data in that, only then this data will be displayed. Okay, we have these classes are defined out of these classes are defined to show the CSS for our page. So if we go in CSS, we have some classes defined. Some classes are out of box, so we don't see it here, but those are there in the theme level. Then we have number description state created. So if you see in our table, we have this headers, and again here we have ngif options.allow actions. So if you see these options, so we have created a checkbox. So if you see here, so this if this is enabled, only then the options will show. Now in the body, we have again this data.records, which we saw here. We are passing this from the server, and we are parsing this in the data. So this R is ng repeat is like a for loop. So we have for, so like we have this I, which is iterating in our for loop. Similarly here we have REC, which is iterating in our data.records. So it can be represented by I, but we are doing it as REC here. So if you see, let me remove this for. So if you see rec.number short description state, so we are iterating these values which are there in this array data.records array. Again we have ngif here. If allow actions, then we'll show this open, update, and close buttons. And here we have used this ngClick. So ngClick, this is a function call, and it makes some operation. Okay, this is defined in the client side. So now the HTML block is done. Now let's go in a server block where we'll see like from where this data.records array is coming. First we are checking like if the table exists from our entered value, like because we are taking this value dynamically. So if table does not exist, we are closing a widget here itself, returning. These input variables will come to this later once we discuss the client script block. So if you see here, we have defined a client record, and here we are passing the table which we just took dynamically. This query also we are taking dynamically under options. Okay, we are adding the query here. Then we are setting it as created on. Then we are putting it as this is created on. So like we show the latest records. Again, this options dot limit, or we are passing it as it should be 5 by default. And here we are querying the records, and we have created an array record data.records. So if you see here at the first, we have created this array, and we are passing these values with the help of query under this data.record array. The table, number, short description, state created, which we want to show here, and that data is shown in this with the help of this ngRepeat. Now coming to these functions, let's go in the client script block. I will close the server block. So if you see here, we have ngClick, so c.openRecord. So these functions we have declared in the client script block. So if you see here, so we have this controller C. So in service portal widget, C is a reference to the widget Angular controller. It allows HTML to call client-side functions and communicate with the server. That's why we are using C. We can also use scope instead of this, like we can use, and here also then we have to define the scope. So this also can be used, but the good option is to use C. Oh, C, we don't have to define it here. Okay, we have defined it here. Now coming to the function, so we have this function representation like this: c.openRecord is equal to function, and here we are passing the data. We're passing the record here, like which we want to open. So to open the URL, we have simply like declared a variable, and in that we have passing the URL. Again, this table we are dot walking, this table name and sysid dollar window open. So this is used to open. It is used to open the URL in the same page or a different page. The second parameter of the window dot open. So this blank. This controls where the page opens. So the common values are blank or self. Self is used like to show it in the same page. Then we have the next function, update incident. So here also again this is the function representation, update incident. We are clicking it. We haven't configured this completely yet. We'll do this in the next video. So here we are using c.server.get. It is used to make the call to the server, and these values we are passing to the server, and then we are putting this function c.server.update. So this refresh the page. So basically we need this because we can't communicate the data from client to server. So we need to refresh the page. So let me explain you the flow in which the widget runs. So first the server script block runs. It sends data object to the HTML. Then the client script block runs. It triggers, it fetches all the functions which are there in the HTML. Okay, then HTML block runs. It executes all the things like data, the functions. Then under these functions we have the input objects. Then these input objects are sent, like when we do the c.server.refresh, these input objects are sent to the server, and again the server block loads, and again then after server again we have the client and then HTML block. So this is the flow which is runs in a widget. So here it is used to refresh the page, and once the page is refreshed, this data is sent to the server. But here then it is sent as input. Let me close this. So if you see here, inputs, so this is the data which just came from this. Let's cover the close as well, so we'll see both of them together. So in the close incident also, like we are passing the sysid, record sysid here, and it will like pass the action, like we want hit here close. Here we are passing action as update and the sysid, and again we are refreshing the list. Okay, so now coming to the server, so this value is come here as input.action. So we have put a check here, like it should be input should have a value, and input.action should have a value, and info.sysid should have a value. Only then this block will run, or else it might go in an infinite loop. First we are doing the security check, like only caller or assigned to. This is just used to check if the fields which are coming are proper before updating or closing any record. So here main our action is handled. So if you see here, we have input.action is update. So if the action value is coming as update, then we are doing updating the short description and update it from service portal. Record update. So similarly, if the action is close, then we are updating the action as close. So we are updating the state here. So we are updating the state as closed. So we are updating the state here, and we are updating the close notes as closed from service portal. So in the next video we'll configure this update widget. So for now I have just done it like this. So if you click on update, it will just update the short description. In the next video we'll configure this update button to update the short description dynamically by the user input.